Blessings, 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 triple blessings and Godspeed. Download of the day, download of the day. So remember, we transcend our mind, or we bypass our mind, or we get through our mind, or we master our mind, whatever words you want to use for it, or we become no mind, where our mind is not our master or inflicting suffering upon us. We get to that by observing the mind, not analyzing the mind. Difference is this: observing means you're literally watching it without putting any constructs, concepts, any kind of definitions, anything. You're not attaching anything. You're not pushing anything away. You're not calling anything bad or good or evil. You feel what the thought brings, what the mental impression brings, and you just leave it and you watch it flow away with no attachment, no identity to it. That is, as we do that in practice, that distances our true self from the mind and eventually become transcendent of the mind. Analyzing the mind is what you want to do, because the mind makes you want to do that. It wants to analyze itself. It's now you're not just observing. You're putting all these definitions on it. You're putting these measurements on it. You're weighting what thought is what. You're putting your own preferences on it and making sure that it's this or that. And you're diving into it, creating identities and ego identities within the thoughts and the mental impressions, and getting stuck in loops. And the mind thinks it can beat the bad thought or the good thought or whatever by becoming inside of it and fighting inside of it. And that's all illusion. So that's what analyzing does. Now, that being said, I'm not saying there's not a place for everything. Everything is allowed. Everything is available. Nothing is ultimately evil of how you're experiencing this place or perceiving this place. And it's all seasons of life. And it's all part of the God experience for us as being I am that I am, one with God. But if you're in a stage or a state in your life where you're getting pushed seasonally in the season to transcend the mind, you'll notice that it'll get a little chaotic, more than usual, and you won't be able to play with it like you normally could. And that is one of the signals and signs that you will be transcending it. And so as you transcend it, you just have to observe. Now, the difficulty with observation is this: we've been programmed by our ego to have identities with everything. So naturally the mind wants to identify with every thought, every mental impression. It wants to have some form of identity with it, which leads to sting and the suffering and causes pain and causes the illusion of separation. Now, when we practice not identifying, then we can understand the distance. The reason why it's hard to not identify, or seems hard to not identify, is because your mind tells you that you're not going to exist. Who are you if you don't identify with something or everything that appears? Who are you? What are you? What's your purpose? How are things going to be done? How are you going to survive? It does all these things to scare you into identifying. And the main one is survival, getting what you want. Who are you? Getting what you think you are wants. Thoughts of the future. How am I going to live? Thoughts of the past. I'm not going to make that mistake again. Survival. Is this going to kill me? All type of stuff. So as we practice more and more, and we listen to the meditations of the master beings and the sages and the great teachers like Jesus and Buddhas and Christs and all the Shris and Bhagavans and all the beings that have transcended and are there for us in unity with the Most High, then we start to understand this more and more. And it is a practice, and it will seemingly be difficult at first. It will seemingly be very, very difficult. But we are bigger than anything that can appear, and God is always with us, and it's so close that we are it. Praise be the Most High. Godspeed.